Hello, my dear students. Today we are going to start a new chapter of geography section, that is chapter number 4. So let's start discussing various kind of economic activity first. When we classify our economic activities, there are mainly three types of activities that we classify in as primary, secondary and the tertiary activity. When we say primary activity, that means we are using product directly from the nature. So for example, agriculture, fishing, hunting, gathering are all this are kinds of primary activities which involve direct interaction with the nature. When you are processing this primary activities, it activates you require secondary sector to be developed, and that sector is mainly manufacturing. Under the tertiary sector, which talks about the various services you have like banking, advertisement, trade, transport. So all these kinds of activities are in the tertiary sectors. Agriculture falls into the primary economic activity. So under this, we will be studying agriculture. So if we look into the global picture, we will see that nearly 50% of the total people who are engaged into agriculture in India. It's nearly 2/3 of the population that is engaged with agriculture. So agriculture definitely forms a major substantial portion of the total economic condition. Now coming to the main word, the topic of our lesson, that is agriculture. What is it? The term agriculture is derived from two words, that is agar plus culture. Agar means soil and culture means cultivation. So cultivation on soil is what we can say agriculture, or we call as agriculture. Now we have various terms that you can see as agri plus culture, that is cultivation on soil. Then you have sericulture, that is cultivation of silkworms. You have pisciculture that deals with fishes. You have viticulture that deals with grapes, and finally horticulture which deals with fruits and gardenings. So these are various commonly talked about terms that we relate or associate with culture, and we have the various functions that we have seen here. Now the next question is, what is the prerequisite condition or primary condition for agriculture to develop? So the answer is, the primary condition is first is climate and the second one is soil. If the climate is optimum, we classify this as temperature and rainfall, and some factors that would be considered would be for humanity and for humidity and for some crops. We might also see the frost condition, the first 3 days, which is very important for cotton cultivation. Climate and soil are important parameters. Various kind of soil are black soil, red soil, alluvial soil, loamy soil and so on. Now again a question, what is arable land? Arable land is the land on which crop can grow, or we can say the land is fertile. Now what are the prerequisite conditions required for processing the agricultural crop? The answer is the inputs and the final outputs. We classify simply the agriculture into various processes. We can say you have the input and the output that are important. So output would be ultimately the crop and the kind of crop, the yield of crop, the per cubic density, and I could say how much crop has occurred during the time. The cropping intensity and the agricultural productivity, however, when it comes to input, it is mainly the machinery, the technology, the seeds, the various chemical and the methodology that is employed, that is plowing, sowing and so on. These are the major inputs. Now again, these inputs can be categorized into further subsections. You have the physical inputs as well as human inputs. Again, the important categorization for the input says either the physical input or the human output. A physical input, it would be the rainfall conditions, the temperature, the soil, the nature of the slope, and the land pattern, and finally the amount of sunshine. Under the human inputs, you have the labor, machinery, chemicals, and storage, which are the four basic primary inputs which are required for agriculture. Now, coming to the next topic, that is types of farming. So, classifying the types of farming primarily under categories. First is the subsistence farming, and second is commercial farming. Now, as the main farming implies, commercial farming is implied for commercial use. So that means we are not producing for ourselves or for our family, but it is for the commercial use. It is meant for, say, the nation or the export purpose. Even, however, subsistence, as the name denotes, is mainly for the household purpose. So that the recent family, close by family, if you could consider, that would be subsistence farming. In subsistence farming requires less technology and huge amount of household labor. This type of farming can further be classified into primitive or intensive farming. Now, what is intensive farming? It means plot size is very small and there are huge number of laborers that are employed on that small plot size. It uses very primitive and simple technologies and it is highly labor intensive. For example, would be rice, wheat cultivation and maize cultivation, specifically in the highly populated area of, say, Ganga Brahmaputra region in India. So this is region where you have intensive subsistence farming. The next is primitive subsistence farming, which is further classified as either shifting cultivation or nomadic herding. Now, nomadic herding is common in the desert areas. So what happen is the type nomads, that means they do not have a fixed house or permanent house and they move from one place to another. They usually keep animals like sheep, camel, yak and goat. They have the products from these animals like milk, who have the hide which is used as leather. So you have the product from these animals which is mainly used and it is primarily found in the desert areas or very hilly terrain. So you can have the example of Sahara, Central Asia, Rajasthan regions, Jammu Kashmir and specifically the Ladakh Valley. Now, what is shifting cultivation? Shifting cultivation is a cultivation on more than one plot of land. Let's say there is a village and you have 6 small plots of land. You grow crop A in season January to February in this plot, and then you move to another region in the next month, June to December, and you grow crop B. Here what would happen? After you have grown this crop, this region, the soil fertility would decline. So the next season you have to shift to another land to grow the crop, and then so on and so forth. So you will shift to 4, 5, 6 and thereafter that it would be the period of year or more, and you would shift back to the first patch of land where you have started. So this is what is shifting cultivation, and this is what is known as slash and burn cultivation. Because of removing everything from the first region, you are burning that and you move to the second land patch. Now the next is commercial farming. We said it's made for commercial use, so it aims to sell out the produce into the market. It employs huge amount of machinery, and large machinery is for cultivation. There are 3 basic types of commercial farming that are involved. The first is the commercial grain farming, the second is mixed farming, and the final one is the plantation agriculture. Now, talking about the first one, commercial grain farming talks about the cultivation of wheat and maize at large scale in the huge farms with hectares and hectares of land, with well-defined machineries and equipments, which are kind of semi-automatic or autonomic. When you have countries like USA and Europe, which commonly focuses on commercial grain farming method with huge availability of land large availability of land with less density of population. The next is mixed farming. Mixed farming is meant for farming for food, for fodder for animals, and along with that, you're growing lifestyles, you're rearing livestocks there. For example, like Europe, Eastern USA, Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa, where you have mixed farming that is common. So you have all the three goals that are made in the same region. You are preparing food for the common people, you are providing fodder for animals, and finally you are rearing the stock. The next is plantation cultivation. The plantation is the cultivation of specific crops which requires large amount of capital and labor. Now this plantation cultivation was introduced by the Britishers. In India, they introduced rubber plantation in Kerala and tea plantation in Northeast. So the idea was large availability of labor that is present and the capital that they can invest in the country, and then they would establish huge plantation farms and those would be exported to other countries. Common crops which are used for plantation is tea, coffee, sugarcane, cashew, rubber, banana or cotton. Now what are the major crops? We know that there are few of the major crops that you might have heard off and on, like rice, wheat, the most common of all the cereals. So the rice is the tropical and subtropical crop which requires high temperature, humidity and rainfall. Commonly found in the coastal areas of India along with China, Sri Lanka, Japan and Egypt. Then you have wheat cultivation which requires moderate temperature and rainfall, grown in the United States, Canada, Argentina, Russia, Ukraine, Australia and India have winters which is the prime season for the wheat. Then you have the next example of millets. Millets is the coarse grain. Since it is a coarse grain, you have the crop which requires less rainfall, less temperature as compared to wheat and rice. The common millets are jawar, bajra, ragi, commonly grown in Nigeria, China and semi-arid parts of India. Maize cultivation is seen in moderate temperature where lots of sunshine is available. Abundant cultivation in North America, Brazil, China, followed by Canada, India, Mexico. Then you have cotton, which is unique crop and requires at least 210 days which are frost free. Then you have light rainfall and high temperature. The crop is grown on mainly black and alluvial soil. China, India and US are the good examples. Jute is also known as golden fiber as it requires high temperature and high rainfall with high humidity and grows mainly on the alluvial soil. It's a tropical plant. And then you have India and Bangladesh as the prime productions for the jute. For coffee, you require a warm and wet climate with loamy soil. So many characteristics varies with each of the crop. Then you have Brazil, Colombia and India which have coffee. Coffee grows in the region, tree grows in the region where you have a good rainfall throughout the year. So all 365 days you have off and on showers, and it is again plantation crop that requires well into loamy soil, requires a lot of labor like Kenya, India, China and Sri Lanka. Now, how has the agriculture been developed in India or in the various developing nations? The prime requirement for developing agriculture is we need to increase the cropped area. The number of crops are growing, the irrigation facilities, the amount of fertilizers and the mechanization should be involved. Now the use of fertilizers and seeds was a primary requisite, which was another idea of green revolution that will be discussed in the further lessons. Now let's understand the concept of farming in India in contrast to America. Let's say in India the average farm is 1.5 hectares in contrast to America, where there could be a farm size of 250 hectares. What would be the difference in the pattern of farming? Definitely in small land size, you would have subsistence farming as compared to huge land size where you might go for commercial farming. Since it would be commercial, it would be highly useful and employ lot of technology and machinery into it. However, in a country like India, it would definitely labor intensive project, because easy availability of labor is again a primary requirement. So you have subsistence farming that works around with easy availability of labor. This kind of contrast in the various agriculture pattern that you can see across the globe. So dear students, this was all about this lesson. The notes of the history lesson and this lesson will be given in the WhatsApp group as soon as possible. Read this lesson properly for more clearance. Thank you so much.